The Aquarian Age commenced, coinciding with the coronation of Queen Victoria, and would last 2160 years. Victoria was the first queen who recognized the futility of conquering land and wanted to put a stop to it. The expansionist quality of the human beings received a break through her. Beginning of the Aquarian Age saw humanity preparing to receive the energies relating to air and space. Conquering distant lands by crossing the great oceans was considered as the greatest deed until then. Fire was the chief element of Aryan Age. Water was the chief element of the Piscean Age, and air is the chief element of the present age, namely the Aquarian Age. One rotation of the Great Bear around the pole takes 25,920 years. The movement of the Great Bear in each of the sun signs takes 2,160 years. The ages such as the Aryan, Piscean and Aquarian are counted by this movement of the Great Bear. Around the beginning of the 20th century, there was much expectation of the descent, which was to be an initiation to the planet and the planetary beings. The progress of the planet and that of the beings of the planet needed to be stepped up to meet the demands of the time plan of our system. The descent of higher energy via Sirius was planned in the higher circles, and it was well conceived in the sublime ashrams of Himalayas, Nilagiris, and 5 other centers on the planet. The theosophical members subtly grasped the descent through the whispering of Madame Blavatsky, and even made a genuine effort to receive the energy for their due distribution on the planet. But the divine plan was otherwise. The plan chose the ashram of the Blue Mountains. The Blue Mountains ashram is the abode of sage Agastya. Agastya is the god and the Lord as well among the rishis. Such a stupendous task of channelizing the descent of energies from the higher systems was undertaken and was ably handled by a special envoy of the Nilagiri ashram, and is picked up later by the Himalayan hierarchy for working it out further on the planet. In the theosophical literature, the Nilagiris ashram of Agastya is referred to as ashram of Master Jupiter. The sacred place called Durga Mountain or the Rangaswamy Pillar was considered to be the ashram of Rishi Agastya. It is very uniquely placed in the northeast corner of Nilagiris. Generally around the mountains there is the blue that descends abundantly. The blue belongs to the Master Jupiter and comes down as indigo, as sky blue, and even as violet. That is why it is called the Blue Mountains. Nilagiris form the bridge between the eastern and the western Ghats. It is also a point of fusion of east and west, relating to the mountains of South India. It is said that sage Agastya has decided to stay in the south. Among Nilagiris, this is the peak which is called the peak of the Master. In the worldly parlance, this is called Rangaswamy Peak because there is a temple of Ranga here. Ranga is Krishna. Among the local tribes, it is known from ancient-most times as Mountain of Durga. The hill of Durga is at the northeast point of Nilgiris, and from there it is connected to the eastern Ghats with a valley and a lake which is called the Lake of Bhavani, meaning Durga. The heart center relating to the planet is also between the equator and the Tropic of Cancer. Equator is the navel and Tropic of Cancer is the higher heart center. In between there is the heart center. That way also Nilgiris is located in the heart center of the planet. Agastya Maharshi, as is known in the Puranic symbolism, is an embodiment of cosmic will on earth. He is considered to be Shiva Swarupa, meaning embodiment of Shiva. He is short by stature, 5 foot in height, stocky, and shines forth in a ripe lemon color, namely yellowish orange. He puts on a lower garment, popularly known as lungi in South India, and has only a towel on the left shoulder, which is popularly known as tundu. He puts on sacred ashes across the forehead as 3 horizontal lines, and he shines forth. The ashram of the Blue Mountains is acclaimed in the Puranas as being equal to all other ashrams on the planet put together. By this grandeur of the ashram, as also its magnitude may be faintly gained. The very contours of the peak show that it is like a huge sage sitting in a relaxed posture, one knee kept up and the other kept flat. One can feel the long plaits of hair falling on either side. He has his countenance in slanting posture, looking to the north. He is in the northeast and is looking towards the north in the direction of Lord Shiva. One can also find some white moss which looks like the sacred ashes. Master CVV is said to be an advanced disciple from the ashram of Master Agastya, to whom the task of reception and distribution of the descending energies is entrusted. In fact, the place where this mountain is called Kodanadu, meaning the place of the pot, which means Kumbha. Kumbha is the Sanskrit term for the sun sign Aquarius. The center for energies of Aquarius is in this peak. It is from here the Master chose to descend into and incarnate in the town of Kumbakonam. Kumbakonam means Aquarian angle. Kumbakonam is the angle of Aquarius, and the Kumbha is the ashram of the Master. Kumbakonam is a famous temple town in South India, situated in the state of Tamil Nadu. It is no wonder that the Aquarian Master chose to be born at Kumbakonam. The place is a fortress of orthodoxy, and the Master was born in an orthodox family. He mastered orthodoxy but overcame it and gave out wisdom in an unorthodox, simple package, a master stroke indeed. Master CVV was born on 4th August 1868 under the sun sign Leo and moon sign Aquarius. The Himalayan hierarchy is representative of energies of Leo and Agastya of the energies of Aquarius. Master CVV came down for the specific purpose of giving a push to the evolutionary plan. He led such a full life that every aspect of it was a significant demonstration of the all-encompassing wisdom. Like Gautama Buddha and Adi Shankara, he was initiated at the age of 5, though it is normally performed at the age of 7. Before he reached 18, he had virtually mastered all the wisdom that was available in Sanskrit. He was especially proficient in Vedas, both in chanting as well as applying them in life. He was fluent in Sanskrit, Telugu, Tamil, and English. His particular fondness for English was understandable, as he had clearly perceived that English would take the place of Sanskrit in the coming centuries as a medium for expression of wisdom, and that it would be eventually the global language. Around 18, he came across the theosophical literature. He understood the work of Madame H.P. Blavatsky in its true light, that the hierarchy had brought out much of pre- and the post-Vedic thought through HPB for the benefit of the West, that the West was becoming increasingly inclined to acquaint with the subtler energies behind the physical, that the Indians did not respond well to HPB's work was noted by the master. Although it is the Indians who assisted the madam in accomplishing her epochal works, the theistic community of India was lukewarm in their response due to their preoccupation with the deeply laid down foundation of theism. The master admired the work of HPB and therefore joined the Theosophical Society as a member and remained a member of the society till the end. His sound knowledge of the Vedic system enabled him to grasp HPB's literature fully. He therefore integrated HPB's work into the work that ensues through him. It was obvious to him that in the total scheme of things, the good work of the past conducted by saints and initiates has to be integrated into the work for which he incarnated, giving it a new form and a new expression which is in tune with Aquarian times. The master was a very popular person in the town. He served as the mayor of the town. The Jamindars, meaning the landlords, the local Rajas, and such elite were attracted to him. They always sought his company. He was socially a very important person. He was married to Srimati Rukmini when he was 12 years old, in tune with the tradition of the times, and through her he had 3 sons and 3 daughters. When he was 36, the lady passed away, and in his 38th year he married again Srimati Venkamma, and through her he had 3 sons and a daughter. Srimati Venkamma's entry into the life of the master was a milestone of occult significance. She served him as a medium for eliciting planetary and cosmic information that he required for scientifically conducting his spiritual experiments. The master was as much a scientist as a mystic. It is believed that the etheric body of HPB was instituted in Srimati Venkamma, and therefore it was possible for Srimati Venkamma to serve as a medium for reception of energies from higher systems. Among the followers of the Master, there was an affirmed belief that Srimati Venkamma was no other than HPB reborn. On the financial front, he tried his hand in many a business venture. He bequeathed much property in his town, which he sold one by one for business and for daily feeding of the people who loved to gather around him in his house for purposes of yoga. Sumptuous breakfast, elaborate lunch with 12 to 16 items, and dinner was a common feature. The master believed in feeding bellyful. It was a daily festivity in his house. It is also significant that when he left behind one good house for the family. The rest was consumed. He was thus living a full life, awaiting reception of the energies of synthesis. Plenty was the keynote of his life, be it mundane or super mundane. The master was a musician of a higher order. When he sang on the banks of river Kaveri, many flocked around him, totally mused into one consciousness. The beings that flocked included the cows, the birds, as well as the humans. It was March 1910. He was of 40 years age. The visitation took place at midnight hours of 31st March 1910. Master CVV was fully aware of this and was awaiting it, and therefore took to Virasana posture during the midnight hours. As the energies descended like a thunderbolt, he absorbed it into him in profound silence. It was the year of the visit of Halley Comet to our solar system and into the orbit of our Earth as well. During its coursing, it came most approximate to the Earth during the midnight hours of 31st March, and the tip of its tail touched the Earth at Kumbakonam. The energies flooded the house of the Master as a brilliant beam of light with thunder and lightning. The neighborhood shook, the hearts trembled. People ran up to the house of the Master, fearing the worst. Lo, there he was sitting, absorbed in meditation. People observed him, surrounded by a brilliant light. Struck by the awesome sight, the people withdrew. In the morning, they drew courage once again and approached him. He opened his eyes and informed them that there was nothing to fear and that he had received unto himself the cosmic energies to be distributed for the benefit of the planet and the planetary beings, and that his work really commences now. He said that he would call them after fully assimilating the energies. He set on ascent the etheric vehicle of his wife, Srimati Venkamma, of son Chandu and of disciple Sundaram to collect information from higher systems. He conducted many experiments with the energies and found ways and means to mold the human structure to enable the latter to be fit to attain immortality. He gave mantras to develop a new pituitary model within the humans in the place of the existing pituitary, which according to him was the chief bottleneck for gaining immortality and self-realization. Many a time he demonstrated invocation of life into the dead by linking the life on the planet with the chief life of the universe. He even conducted communications with the planetary intelligences and made certain arrangements with them in relation to our planet. He used to call all such arrangements as contracts in his inimitable style. He experimented with cosmic sounds and formulated certain sound formulae to effectively rectify the human psyche. Indeed, he is the spiritual scientist of the age, the Aquarian age, who gave a scientific approach to the spiritual path. Soon as promised, he came out of his experiments and called out to people. He formed a yoga school called Yoga School Friends Society. He inserted an advertisement in a leading English daily inviting those who did not want to die to approach him. No wonder some considered him mad and some mysterious, while the sensible were redeemed. He gave out 3 simple practices as means to accomplish yoga. 1. Invocation of the sound CVV at 6 o'clock in the morning and in the evening. 2. To see the Master in all. And 3. To live a life of offering and not of seeking. These form the 3 cardinal principles of the Yoga of Master CVV, which is also called Bhaktarahita Taraka Raja Yoga, Satya Yoga, and CVV Yoga. He lived and taught a full life of all-round development. He advocated that sound is the key to salvation in the present age and gave out the energies of synthesis through the sound potency CVV. In a nutshell, he gave out the most ancient wisdom of yoga to the most modern age in the most suitable form, embedding therein the energies that descended from higher circles. He left his physical body exactly as prophesied by him. He advised his family, as also his followers, not to cremate his body, but to restore it in the river Kaveri. But the tradition in Kumbakonam being strong, the family bound to the tradition tried to cremate his body at the river bank of Kaveri. It thundered, and dark clouds gathered at once in the region, resulting in a heavy downpour. The river suddenly swelled, and the flood carried away the Master's body yonder into eternity. The prophecy of the Master was thus fulfilled. The human efforts proved futile. His work was not confined to the beings of the planet Earth, but stretched to other planets as well. He addressed the energies of synthesis that he visited him through the comet as the Master. He planned 1,000 mediums to distribute the energy on the planet and regarded himself as the first medium. In his lifetime, he initiated 752 mediums directly. He planned the May Call Day and December Call Day meetings to invoke and to distribute this energy of synthesis. He chose 29th May as May Call Day and 29th December as the December Call Day. Those who worked with the sound C, V, V and accomplished the yoga given out by Master CVV today stand as guides on the path, initiating the seekers into the path of immortality. Master MN, Master VPS, Master EK, Sri Kotta Ramakotaya and Sri NRBV have worked out and transmitted this yoga during their lives. Master Parvathi Kumar at present is relentlessly transmitting the energies of synthesis all over the globe, visiting all continents in response to the demand of the seekers.